Check, check, check. Too much? Too loud? Check, check, check. Is that better? Is that better? Okay. If anything's wrong, y'all just tell me. There's nobody checking for us, so we're doing the best we can. Meg, I need you to come get ready.
Might be too hot for you. See if that's too loud.
Check, check.
Do we need to adjust it, or can I
I can just hold it farther away.
see where to put it? No problem.
All right, good.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley. My name is Reverend Kiya, and my pronouns are she, they. And I'm very happy to see y'all this morning. It's too loud. Is it still too loud if I stay back here? Because that's
Yeah, me too.
Okay. We're going to start out singing to you this morning a song about church.
Well, I am so glad I found you. I was out here all alone. Couldn't find a single church where I could feel at home. I was just amazed to see that you'd been here for so long. Grateful that you persevered, so I wrote you all this song. I was thinking mango thoughts in a meatloaf town. The food for thought was all the same, really brought me down. Nothing on the heavenly buffet line was satisfying my appetite for truth and light, and sit in church just sighing. Everybody else seemed fine. Blue jello, green peas, banana pudding, nothing spicy, no blintzes, no Vietnamese. I was craving jalapeno talk just to soothe my soul. Saying unsurprising things was taking all my self-control. I am glad the talk is straight here, though some of the people are not. We got patriots and protesters, and that ain't all we got. Atheists and redneck Hindus, we've got pagan Buddhist Jews. Some of us love the Christian songs, some just believe the blues. mind. We speak the truth, we walk in love, and we remember to be kind. And that's how the song would end. If I were a sweet and earnest minister. God knows I tried. But here's the real ending. We got us a feast for the spirit and a feast for the mind. But in case of rapture, pack a snack, 'cause we'll be left behind.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley, UUCBV, or Brazos UU for short. My name is Katie Womack, and my pronouns are she and her, and I am serving as your worship assistant today. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we celebrate and welcome all people of diverse sexual orientations and gender identities. We also strive to welcome people across diversities of race, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. We're also a congregation working for reproductive justice. So whoever you are, wherever you've come from, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. If you have a joy or a concern, please write it in the book that's being passed around for Reverend Kiya to read during the service. But please remember that our service is recorded and available publicly if you need to moderate your message accordingly. Our Wednesday night book club has started. We are reading Jason Stanley's How Fascism, The Politics of Us Versus Them. Join us online at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, September 27th. The Soul Matter Small Group Ministry is beginning this month. Questions? Ask Allison. Allison Darty, Jay, I don't believe Jay's here, or Reverend Kiya.
Reed is going to help us light the chalice. He doesn't need any help. I'm going to read to you. Our reading this morning comes from Rebecca Solnit. The 1,000-year Reich did not last 2 decades. The Soviet Union lasted 3/4 of a century. Idi Amin ruled for 8 years. The Confederacy didn't make it to kindergarten. Argentina's dirty war lasted 6 years. Pinochet dominated Chile for 16. Nothing lasts forever, even the worst things. Hitler killed himself. Stalin and Franco lasted too long, but ultimately dropped dead. And last year, Franco's body was exhumed from its Grand Persian labor-built monument and dumped in a municipal cemetery. Pol Pot died in prison. Mugabe had to step down. Putin is not immortal. Every day under these monstrosities was too long. And part of the horror of life under a corrupt and brutal regime is that it seems never ending. But nothing lasts forever. And believing that something can end is often instrumental in working toward ending it. How people in Eastern Europe dare to hope that their efforts might succeed, I cannot imagine. Rebecca Solnit.
Now, all please join me in saying our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
As Unitarian Universalists, we believe there's a spark of the divine in every being, including us. And so this is your opportunity to say howdy to all the divine sparks in this room. So please take a moment and really be extra mindful to say hello to people you don't know yet. I'll let you know when it's over.
Good morning. Our time for all ages today is called Nerdy Birdie, and it's by Aaron Reynolds and Matt Davies. But before I begin, I want to make very clear, there's a character in this book called Robin, who is a bird, not our Robin, who's not exactly super nice. So our Robin is very, very nice. So that's a clarification to make. Okay. This is Nerdy Birdie. Sorry.
I apologize.
Okay. This is, I'm so sorry. I'm on edge apparently. Okay. This is Nerdy Birdie. His glasses are too big. His wings are too small. He's allergic to birdseed. When all the other birds are hanging out together at the bird feeder, Nerdy Birdie is scrounging for breadcrumbs. Eagles, cardinals, and robins are the cool birdies. Eagle has a wind tunnel tested head shape, abs of steel, and incredibly sculpted chest muscles. Cardinal has a glossy red pompadour and a glossy red attire. Robin has beady eyes with superior worm vision, a worm-fed physique, and feet that have nothing to do with worms. 3 things that eagles are good at: hunting, fishing, and football. 3 things that cardinals are good at: singing like a rock star, posing, and attracting fans. 3 things that robins are good at: picking on worms, insulting worms, not our robin, and eating worms. 3 things that Nerdy Birdie is good at: reading, playing video games, and reading about video games. Eagles, cardinals, and robins don't care about reading. Hey guys, I just read the coolest book. Who cares, bookworm? I eat bookworms for breakfast. Or video games. Hey guys, I just defeated the Earthworm King in World of Wormcraft. Who cares, nerd? I eat real earthworms, not digital ones. One day, Eagle ran off to hunt. Cardinal flew off to impress fans, and Robin flew off to terrorize worms, and Nerdy Birdie was alone. One thing was clear: it was awful lonely not being a cool birdie. Why do you hang around with them? They don't even like you. But they're so cool, said Nerdy Birdie. Trying to be cool is exhausting, said the new bird. You should hang around with us. Us? Us. After all, there's always room for a new Nerdy Birdie. Their glasses were too big. Their wings were too small. At least half of them had birdseed allergies. They all liked to read, and most of them liked to play World of Wormcraft. They were exactly like Nerdy Birdie. And then he realized something. There were way more Nerdy Birdies than cool birdies. And now they were all his friends. Eagle didn't have any friends. Eagle hunted alone. Cardinal was always showing off. He had no friends. Know why? Because he was always showing off. Robin was too obsessed with worms to make any friends. One thing was clear: it was awful lonely being a cool birdie. But then a new bird moved into the neighborhood. The cool birds were unimpressed. Hey guys! Ugh, she gives me the creeps. Why does she always wear black? It's depressing. She eats what? The cool birdies flew away and left the vulture alone. Why would you want to hang around with them? Being cool's exhausting. You should hang around with us. Us? Us! After all, there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie. Right, guys? Hold it! Where are her glasses? Where is her lightsaber? And have you heard what she eats? Whoa! She is most definitely not one of us. Nerdy Birdie was confused. But there's always room for another Nerdy Birdie, right? That's the problem. She's not a Nerdy Birdie, she's just weird. Nerdy Birdie looked at his flock of friends. The telephone wire was packed with them. He looked at the new bird, sitting there alone. And one thing was clear, it was awful lonely being alone. This is Nerdy Birdie. His glasses are too big and his wings are too small. This is Vulture. She wears contact lenses, and her wings are enormous. Vulture eats dead things. Nerdy Birdie does not. Nerdy Birdie likes video games. Vulture does not. Nerdy Birdie and Vulture don't like all the same things, but they really like each other. If you ever need a friend, you can hang around with them. Because after all, there's always room for another birdie. And the new bird says, hi. So this week, let's try and make room in our hearts for all the birdies, nerdy or not. And please send us out. Please let us go. Please sing us out to religious education.
We're going to try something. To this little light of mine, we're going to have another song. You all know, glory, glory, hallelujah, till I lay my burden down. Okay, go ahead. Let's go with this little light. We'll add that to it.
It's the light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Glory, glory. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Awesome job. And somewhere there is a joy. I love that. That is how that happens. Oh no, this is very sad. Dina and Richard are moving to Charlottesville, Virginia. No. Molly Hagan Ward is mourning the loss of her cousin, Andy, 42, from Michigan. She's grateful she will get to be with her family later this week. I'm so sorry about it. The Cho family, Robin turned 5 yesterday and had a blast at her party. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Robin. Happy birthday to you. Moms should hear happy birthday for their kids. Nicole says Mike's procedure went well. Excellent. Carolyn says, please pray with me for a friend's yet to be born grandchild. It's a secret, so I can't say more, but much joy is coming with the secret baby. Well, I want to say a prayer for that. That's awesome. Spirit of life, bless this secret baby. Excellent. Thank you all, and just hold in your hearts all the joys and concerns that people are either shy or being a little quiet about today. So we're going to teach you a couple of songs. Now you may have heard the Benediction La Sonnet, which is a really great song by Allie and Howard. Yeah. And so Would you like to teach them the first part?
Sure. Loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, baby, you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Now, y'all, there's another part. So, I'll sing with you all. We will sing a Loosen Lucy, and listen, and Darby will sing the second part. You want to tell them the words?
Holy breath and holy name, will you ease this pain? Holy breath and holy name, the weight of the world in your muscles, and will you ease this pain? Loosen breath and holy name, will you muscles and will you ease this pain? Holy baby and holy name, the weight of the world in your muscles and will you ease this pain? Holy breath, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
One more time.
Loosen, baby, and you don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go.
Thank you so much, Darby. Thank you all. Give a hand to Darby for helping us with the music today. Whew. So, our sermon today starts with a video so that we all get on the same page about fascism. It's not very long.
Videos on topics that matter. What is fascism? In this video, we'll dive into everything you need to know about it. Fascism is a complex and mutable political ideology, but is typically defined as a far-right, authoritarian, ultranationalist political ideology and movement, characterized by a dictatorial leader, centralized autocracy, militarism, forcible suppression of opposition, belief in a natural social hierarchy, subordination of individual interests for the perceived good of the nation and race, and strong regimentation of society and the economy. The word comes from the Italian fascio, meaning a bundle or a group, and is considered a term for a militant brotherhood. The word fasces means an axe tightly bound with sticks, an image that became a symbol of the fascist movement. The symbolism of fasces suggests strength through unity. A single rod is easily broken, while the bundle is difficult to break. Fascism came to prominence in the 1920s and 1930s in Europe. The most notorious examples of fascist governments have been Benito Mussolini's National Fascist Party in Italy from 1922 to 1943, and Adolf Hitler's National Socialist German Workers' Party, the Nazi Party, from 1933 to 1945. Other countries have also been ruled in the 20th century by fascist regimes, such as Francisco Franco in Spain and Juan Perón in Argentina. According to some definitions, fascism rejects assertions that violence is inherently bad and views imperialism, political violence, and war as a means to national rejuvenation. Fascists often advocate for the establishment of a totalitarian one-party state and for a dirigist economy with the principal goal of achieving autarky, national economic self-sufficiency through protectionist and economic interventionist policies. Fascism's extreme authoritarianism and nationalism often manifests as belief in racial purity or a master race, usually blended with some variant of racism or bigotry against a demonized other, such as what was seen with Jews during the Hitler era. Ideas such as these have motivated fascist regimes to commit genocides, massacres, forced sterilizations, mass killings, and forced deportations. Since the end of World War II in 1945, few parties have openly described themselves as fascists. The term is more often used derogatorily by political opponents. The descriptions of neo-fascists and post-fascists are sometimes employed to describe contemporary parties with ideologies similar to or rooted in 20th century fascist movements. Core fascist ideologies and goals similar to those of Hitler and Mussolini are still present in populist organizations today and continue to shape fascist movements in countries around the world, particularly where their leaders are, number one, someone who claims to speak for a whole nation or group, two, is utterly unconcerned with the rights of others, and three, is willing to use violence and whatever other means are necessary to achieve the goals he or she might have. Some opposition groups have adopted the label anti-fascist or Antifa to signify their stance. What are your thoughts about fascism? If you enjoyed this video, please like and comment and subscribe to Illustrate to Educate. Also check out some of my other videos to the right for more simple and objective videos on topics that matter.
Let's tap a little on the floor. Ugh. Okay, everybody got that? Pretty much. Yeah, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time talking about what fascism is, because I think that pretty much covers it. The question is, what kind of fascism is happening and how can we stop it if it's happening here? So I have questions for you. So how many of you would agree that fascism is not a fan of democracy? Yeah. And as you use, regardless of your political views, we affirm to promote democracy, equality, equity, and honoring the divine in every being. In my view, I cannot see fascism as a good thing or supportive of UU values. Everybody sort of agree with that? Excellent. So what I want to talk about today is more hard to talk about, especially in our country. I was raised by my grandparents who were World War II vets. And they were pretty much, American values are not Nazi values. Everybody kind of raised that way? That's them, that's not us. But what you may not realize is that Mein Kampf, Hitler's book, a lot of his ideas came from US ideas. Genocide of Native Americans gave him the idea about getting rid of the Jews. It's true. A lot of the activities of the Klan were things that he modeled the Nazi Party on. And we don't like to think that we are like them. We don't want to think about that. But there's actually a whole history of fascist movements in the United States. And maybe there's some going on now, I can't say for sure. But you can look at that list and make up your own mind. So, the inequities and inequality of power within our communities, our denominations, our country, even our families, even our personal interactions. Can you see the fascist within you? Or do you not have one? Have you ever bossed somebody around and said, because I said so? Anybody? Yeah. I think it's a human tendency and we don't like to look at it. It's ugly. But if we don't look at it, it sneaks up in our shadow, like Carl Jung says, and kicks our butts, right? So we don't want that to happen. And one of the things that we have to do as a congregation is we have to build a community that's democratic and transparent and where everybody has a say. That's what's important, right? So what kind of things have happened in the U.S. That you might want to check out? How many people know that much about the Klan? A little bit. You know, mostly it comes from the 20s. After the Civil War, there was a little bit of Klan, for sure. Especially until Reconstruction was kicked out. But that even was a compromise. The more you look into U.S. history, the more troubling it becomes. Because we are often not our ideal. We don't necessarily live up to our ideal, even though we're moving toward that. So we've got the Klan. There's a great documentary, I don't know if you've watched it, but about Stone Mountain in Georgia. If you get a chance to watch that, it covers not only the Klan, but how the monument movement happened and how all that stuff came back around. And one of the reasons it comes back around is because people don't know their history. So it's not fun, but it's important. And it's important because we're in a very dangerous time for democracy. Everybody got an agreement on that? Can I get an amen? Okay. Now there was the German Bund before the Nazi Party came in. There were a lot of German immigrants. A lot of Italian immigrants were really into Mussolini because the economy was so bad in the fascist countries that fascism took off. Because everybody's looking for that quick fix. They're looking for that authoritarian leader to come in and go, I got you, I'll fix it. If you're worried, you can't buy milk. You're worried. And so it sounds pretty good. Okay, I'll let them take care of it. They said they would. People tend to go to the middle when there's a disagreement. If somebody comes in and, Darby, if you're standing up here saying, I can fix everything, don't worry about it, and I'm sitting here telling you about the KKK and Stone Mountain, you're not going to want to hear what I have to say. You're going to want to hear the more palatable, quick fix. And that is when we're in danger of fascism, authoritarianism, anti-democratic movements, taking people's right to vote away because they're the wrong kind of people. They're not nerdy birdies. They might do something we don't want. Right? We need to know about this stuff. There were so many fascist and anti-Semitic things going on in the United States before World War II. If we don't pay attention to the fact that that ever existed here, we think, that won't happen here. That's when we're in trouble. I'm not saying spend a whole lot of time on this because life is hard. But just giving you an idea, just the stuff around Roosevelt. When you hear people doing that argument where they say, well, that New Deal was socialist, but you don't know what socialism is? There, you know, a lot of things that were done during the Depression that saved people's lives because they couldn't get enough food were done in a kind of socialist way. I'm not saying that we should go back to that, but a lot of the programs that we depend on now got started during that period, and they were hostilely talked about as being fascist. Now, what is that? Have you noticed that sometimes people who are doing one bad thing will talk about how their opponent is doing that thing? I'm not saying who, because it's a 501c3 and I'm a minister in a church. But you can think for yourself. It is a fascist technique. Goebbels did it, Hitler did it. What you do is you say that your enemy, whoever your enemy is doing what you actually are doing. And somehow it lessens the blow. That is a sign of fascism. Don't take my word for it. Take the class, read the book. Jason Stanley from Yale. Amazing guy. Another technique of the fascists is to use racism, white supremacy, racism as a tool to divide people. In the labor movement, if you do your labor history, read Howard Zinn perhaps, and you want to know about the union movement in the United States, When blacks and white union people started working together, they used racism to divide them. There were a lot of racist actions in the union that made the progress difficult. What's going on with us? Making it where women don't have rights over their bodies, making voting rights more difficult, because we don't want those people voting. That's pure fascism, y'all. What are we going to do about it? What ideas do you have? Anybody have an idea? Besides, get out the vote, help people vote, help people get registered, help people understand and not despair. What can we do as Unitarian Universalists? Anybody got some ideas? Yes.
Host forums.
Go to forums.
Host them.
Host them, no problem. As soon as we get a building.
People know what they should be voting on.
I think as soon as we get a building, that is exactly what we should be doing. But I can't make that decision by myself. But I do think we should be doing that. John?
Talk more about ranked choice voting and how that could improve our democracy.
Yes. Pay attention to all the strikes that are going on. When people are making 40% profits, the CEOs are getting paid 40% more. Not to mention 40 times what the people who are working the line are working. And the profits are 40% higher, but that raises are only being offered at 6%. There's something wrong with that.
Pay attention to misinformation trends and identify places where information is being suppressed.
You mean like messing with librarians?
I wasn't going to say.
Librarians are the first line of defense for self-expression and the free press and free society. Public school teachers. What are they teaching? If you take out all this, the darker history of the United States, if you don't talk about Father, what's his name? I forget his name, because I really don't like him. If I really don't like somebody, I start forgetting their name all the time. Father Charles Coughlin. He was on the radio in the 30s. He was a Roman Catholic priest who was very right-wing, but he was also very fascist. They finally took him off the air. The United States government actually started suppressing fascist organizations during World War II. They don't talk about it. But in World War I, they were suppressing the Wobblies and the One Big Union, which was the only union that had blacks and whites and women all in the same union. They got busted for standing on soapboxes in towns talking about how the draft got poor men to fight the rich man's war. That would get you 20 years in prison during World War I. It's the kind of stuff we gotta know. You gotta know it, or at least be aware of it. You don't even have to know it. You can have me come over and I'll just talk. I'm such a nerd. But this is the kind of stuff we have to talk about and look at hard. So, as we're looking at the things we can do, and we're paying attention, what we have to not do is despair. It's easy. It's like, I can't fix this. It's too big. Find that one thing you can do. What's the one thing you can do? Besides what? Vote. Help people vote. What else?
One more thing that some of you may already know about. There's a small group that is starting a new online newspaper to talk about all the things that Portugal doesn't have room for. And be a place where people can actually discuss local issues.
Wonderful.
It's going to be local, it's going to be nonpartisan, but it's
Yes.
necessary.
And
It's
this
going to be
Thursday.
Brazos Valley Beats. It's
Okay.
almost to the point where you can Google it and it'll pop up.
If you'll email it to us, we'll put it in the e-cast so everybody will know. Yeah. At this week's Lunch and Learn, if you can attend, I know a lot of people can't on Thursday for lunch, but we just were having an open discussion about what we want to do with our new church and what kind of things we want to do, like these kind of things, like hosting things. What do you want to see us do? How can we be a force of good in the neighborhood? You know, we've lost our newspaper, but we have an ad this week for our installation dedication in the newspaper. We probably won't get a story now because they're not local. They're not really local. That's important. So what can we fix? What needs do you see that we could fill? You know, I know the last election we tried to organize driving people to the polls, that kind of thing. What other things can you think of that we should do? Not partisan things, but things that just keep democracy breathing in and out. Because democracy is our best thing, and we are the light of the world for that. I mean, I know we have nationalism, we think we're hot, right? But we are the representative government of a democracy that's worked for a couple hundred years now. And we want to keep that reputation, right? Little things. What can we do to help about the librarians? Anybody? What can we do to help?
Use your library.
Yeah, use it.
Yeah, take books off the shelves and put them on the return carts. That's how they get their funding.
Did you hear what Darby said?
Libraries get their funding by counting the books that they reshelve from the return carts.
That's true, but I think that there's, so one of the things that's happening, say, with the school systems, you know, they've got these places that are, so promote access to library services in schools, promote access to library services in the community.
Hold school boards accountable for their decisions.
School boards are a big issue right now, and support vote for the people who want these things, who want to have good education for our young people.
Yeah. So here are other signs of fascism. If you don't believe me, that we have to worry. Book banning, voter suppression. The belief in a certain type of person is a real American and other people are not real Americans. Those immigrant people, those people who are asylum seekers, they're not real Americans. They don't want to be here for the right reasons. Have you heard that? That is just pure fascism, y'all. Picking on LGBTQ, trans kids, picking on immigrants, asylum seekers, having people that you can scapegoat is a fascist technique. It's a fascist technique. We have to do what we can to stop these things. It's part of our mission as Unitarian Universalists. And individually, what do you see in your own life where you could be a little bit more sharing of the power? Share the power. People have the power. Patti Smith song. I thought about that one for today. But that's the situation that we're in. I want y'all not to despair if you can. It dishonors the people who came before us, who walked the picket line, who did the hunger strikes. You know, try really hard not to despair. If you need help, ask for it. Send me an email. Do what I can. I'll go, yep, please. Those guys. Or whatever. That's what I'm for. I'll work for you. Maybe the questions come down to basic ideas of fairness. Everyone gets a vote. Everyone has a chance. Every person has humanity and rights. Even the people we don't like. Even though historically we have sometimes come up short, this is a worthy fight. Let's work on ourselves and don't get distracted from the real battles we are facing. It is not about the Kardashians. It is not. Help everyone have their voices heard. We, the people, have this, and we will keep working for that more perfect union.
Now let an offering be taken to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now keepers of the dream. This church shares the proceeds of the offering plate donation every week to help support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. The 4 groups we voted to support this year's donations with are the African American Museum, Brazos Valley Blessings, the Pride Center, and the Brazos Mobile Food Pantry. We vote on this every May at our congregation meeting. Please be as generous as you can.
There ain't no reason things are this way. It's how they've always been and they intend to stay. I can't explain why we live this way, but we do it every day. Preachers on the podium speaking to saints, prophets on the sidewalk begging for change, old ladies laughing from the fire escape, cursing my name. Got a basket full of lemons and they all taste the same. I've been doing a pigeon with a broken wing. You can spend your whole life working for something just to have it taken away. People walk around pushing back their debts, wearing paychecks like necklaces and bracelets, talking about nothing, not thinking about death. Every little heartbeat, every little breath. People walk a tightrope on a razor's edge, carrying their hurt and hatred and weapons. It could be a bomb or a bullet or a pen or a thought or a word or a sentence. There ain't no reason things are this way. It's how they always been and they intend to stay. I can't explain why we live this way, but we do it every day. Your love will come and set me free. Love will come, set me free. I do believe. Love will come and set me free. I know it will. Love will come, set me free. Prison walls are still standing tall. Some things will never change at all. Keep on building prisons, never fill them all. Keep on building bombs, never drop them all. Working your fingers bare to the bone, breaking your back, make you sell your soul. Like a lung that's filled with coal, suffocating slow. The wind blows wild and I may move. The politicians lie, but I am not fooled. You don't need no reason or a 3-piece suit to argue the truth. The hair on my skin and the world under my toes. Slavery stitched into the fabric of my clothes. Chaos and commotion wherever I go. Love I'll try to follow. Love will come and set me free. Love will come and set me free. I do believe that love will come, set me free. I know it will. Love will come, set me free. There ain't no reason
for these gifts we have given, for those we receive, and for each other. May your generosity return to you tenfold. Now please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again.
I know you know this one. We're going to sing these verses, which are the ones they don't usually sing. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made, you and me. I roamed and rambled and followed my footsteps through sparkling sands of verdant deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made, you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made, you and me. As I was walking, I saw a sign there, and the sign said, no trespassing, but on the other side, it didn't say nothing. That sign was made, you and me. Let's hear y'all sing it. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made, you and me. In the squares of the city, in the shadows of the steeple, near the relief office, I see my people, and some were grumbling, and some were wondering. This land was made, you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made, you and me. Nobody living can ever stop me as I go walking that freedom highway. Nobody living will ever turn us back. This land was made, you and me. That one more time. This land is your land, this land is my land, from California to New York Island, from the Redwood Forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made, you and me. This land was made, you and me. Go in peace.